pull up a bar stool. These ads suck. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Online advertising in a privacy-altered world. And just kind of curious if users know really what they're in for. We'll talk a little bit about iOS 14, but in general, we're really talking more about the direction we're heading with less tracking, less relevant ads. So let's do that now. Pop a bottle. Let's do it. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Social Media Pubcast. I'm your host, John Loomer. You can find me at johnloomer.com and facebook.com/johnloomerdigital. So, yeah, my ads suck. Why do these ads suck? We're going to be hearing a lot more of this if we continue down this path. Now, this is basically me as an advertiser, but it's also kind of understanding where we're going, right? You got the iOS 14 prompt, which is coming out early spring. I already saw the prompt on one app that I'm using, but most importantly to Facebook advertisers is when it rolls out for Facebook and Instagram. But they're going to have two options. They're going to allow the app to track your activity across apps and websites to provide personal advertising, or just don't allow tracking. So, of course, this isn't just about iOS 14. This is a trend, and we're entering a less personalized world. And as ads are less personalized, they're less relevant. If the ad's less relevant, they're less likely to be effective. I mean, Facebook, now, I'm a little bit cautious here sharing a quote from Facebook because this is really important to their bottom line. And they're freaking out whether or not it's kind of over the top or not. You be the judge. But this quote from Facebook says, "Our studies show without personalized ads powered by their own data, small businesses could see a cut of over 60% of website sales from ads." Now, of course, that doesn't mean iOS 14 and the prompt is by itself going to cut businesses' sales by 60%. Just kind of means that, if we're unable to personalize ads in the future, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt advertisers. It's going to hurt Facebook. Now, I understand, completely get it. To non-advertisers, that quote means nothing. You don't care about advertisers. You don't care about Facebook being profitable. You just don't want to see those crappy ads. All right? So why should you care? Cheers. So let's talk about that future of privacy-altered advertising. So where we're going is a world of greater online privacy. So where pixels and tracking are going to become less effective, less useful. And without tracking, an advertising platform like Facebook, they're going to know less about you. And so they don't know the websites you visit or the products you buy, or they're going to know that stuff less frequently. And to some, that's a win. That's a good thing. That's privacy, right? So understand, though, that tracking allows businesses to reach people who have visited their website, expressed interest in specific products. It allows advertisers to show ads to people that they may actually want to see. And I know you think, oh, I don't want to see ads. You may actually want to see them. Ads that solve problems, answer questions that you've had, and by removing tracking, you can expect to see fewer of those relevant ads. And I know what you're saying. I don't click on ads. You click on ads. I guarantee it. So like it or not, ads are a part of your Facebook newsfeed experience. And when they're done well, a well-targeted ad can actually add to your experience, or at least it doesn't take away from that experience, because at their worst, a bunch of poorly targeted ads is going to make it a bad experience on Facebook. So ideally, ads are going to show up to you at the right time. So it's just when you're searching for a solution or it features a topic that you're passionate about, that you really want, you're really thinking about right now anyway. Maybe it's a little bit mysterious and creepy to you that you saw it, but you're like, yeah, I care about that. And then you click, and you maybe don't even realize that you clicked on an ad. But the claim is always, I never click on Facebook ads. I hear that a lot. And my response to that is, you're a freaking liar. And honestly, you can find out for sure whether you click on ads. And the thing is, I click on ads, and I know I do, and it's not just to make a point. The reality is that even I'm not always completely aware of how often I'm clicking on them. But I know I do, first of all, because Facebook tracks that on their platform. So this has nothing to do with all of this. But if you go into recent ad activity, which you can find in the bookmark section of your either mobile app or the desktop site, doesn't matter, you'll see all the ads that you've engaged with during the past 3 months. I found that I've engaged with 54 ads during that time. Sounds like a decent amount, if you ask me. Now, granted, look, it doesn't mean I bought from 54 businesses through these ads. And sometimes I was just curious about the ad, and I clicked to read about the comments, because sometimes like, oh, this seems like a train wreck. What's happening in this ad? What are people going to say? So sometimes there's a little bit of that. There's a little curiosity. And there's some that I just don't remember. But there are absolutely products in there that I bought within that list of ads that I clicked on. There are others that I was interested in that I'd at least consider buying it. Like there's one for Buddy Boss, the Buddy Boss app. That ad keeps showing up that I've engaged with. That's a big commitment, and I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I'm thinking about it, and those ads keep showing up for me. Cheers. So here's the thing. When people talk about ads, like, oh, don't care about advertisers, don't care about the money Facebook's going to lose. I just don't want to see ads. So when people complain about ads, they seem to think there's this ad-less utopia that's possible. And if you opt out of tracking, you're going to stop seeing ads. Woo! Nah, well, that's not going to happen. Okay, so understand, fourth quarter of 2020, more than $27 billion of Facebook's total $28 billion-ish in revenue came from, ads. So this is how Facebook makes money. This is why you can use Facebook for free, or quote-unquote free, right? Is it really free if it's your privacy? I get it. But understand, the ads aren't going anywhere. And in fact, the ads may start becoming more noticeable to you as they become less relevant and more annoying. And you may even swear you're seeing more. So instead, it's just that those ads are more likely to suck, so you actually notice it. So the question becomes, what are users going to do? And honestly, this is where it gets a little interesting. My unscientific little experiment here. So you may see an ad once every 3 to 5 posts in your newsfeed, which honestly sounds like a freaking ton. But I just went through my current newsfeed, very unscientific, by the way. And I went through like 17 posts. I think there were 4 ads in there. It was kind of crazy. And that's a pretty juicy percentage of your experience. And I think there are more ads that are likely to show up near the top too. So if those ads are relevant, particularly if they reflect sources you already consume on a regular basis, you're unlikely to notice them. Because honestly, when I saw that percentage, that was like, that's crazy. That's a lot. But if they aren't relevant, your experience will be negatively impacted. So it's not that you need ads to improve your experience on Facebook, but you need good ads that don't take away from that experience. So the question is, will users notice if ads suddenly become a whole lot less targeted? And how are they going to react? Can we presume that they will act less frequently on ads? Probably. Will they complain more about ads? I bet. Do you think they're going to make the connection, though, that's due to a lack of tracking and personalization, the things that they claim that they want? And I think an important question would be, will they use Facebook less often as a result? And I know a lot of people are like, good riddance, Facebook, right? Maybe. But there are also a lot of businesses that rely on reaching their audience, and maybe they'll have to go somewhere else. But this isn't only impacting Facebook, understand. This is an overall global impact that we're going to see impacting CRMs and other advertising platforms across the board. So the chunk of content we're talking about here, if it's 3 to 5, one every 3 to 5 posts you see on your newsfeed that's promoted, not trivial. So this contributes significantly to your experience, whether we like it or not. Cheers. So real quickly, an advertiser's perspective. Now, it's really easy to ignore an advertiser's perspective related to online privacy. I totally understand that. But I also think there's a basic misunderstanding of what an advertiser does and has access to. So if you allow tracking, there's not some evil advertiser scrolling through a list of people to target who has visited their website and other similar websites, not picking you out by name and looking at all of your embarrassing browsing habits. And that sounds crazy. Maybe that's a straw man, but I get the sense that some people think this way, and maybe that's the definition of a straw man, but it's just not that sophisticated. I'm not doing it. If any advertiser is, I'm pretty sure they're violating a whole bunch of laws. Now, as a publisher, so someone who has a website, I have the Facebook Pixel code on my site. And Facebook's able to anonymously, I can't even explain how they do it, but anonymously connect visitors to my site to users on Facebook. That way, I can tell Facebook, hey, I want to reach these certain types of people with my ads who have visited my website, bought certain things, performed certain actions on my website, so that the ad is highly relevant and you may actually invite it and be okay with seeing it. I don't care who performs what action on my website. I just want to reach the people who are likely to respond to my ads. And as an advertiser, it's possible. Look, maybe I'm just numb to all this and I don't see the big fires around online privacy that maybe I should. But I also see the value in targeted ads, not just as an advertiser, but as a user. I want to see ads that are relevant to me. Not that I'm excited to see an ad, but if it's relevant to me, it doesn't take away from my experience. I don't want to see garbage ads that have nothing to do with me. And maybe you don't trust Facebook. That's entirely understandable. But I hope that users understand that the advertiser's role really isn't a whole lot in this process. Cheers. So here's the weird thing about all this. Now, the future of online advertising may actually look a whole lot like the past. Less relevant, less personalized, more annoying. Now, of course, advertisers will need to adjust to remain profitable. Facebook's going to need to evolve to maintain their revenue growth. Other companies are probably going to see opportunity to fill a need, develop solutions as we got this big hole here. Still, it's going to be really difficult, maybe not immediately with the iOS 14 stuff, all right? We're going beyond that. But eventually to create highly relevant ads, assuming we continue on this path, or more accurately, to create ads that we can confidently say will be of interest to our audience. And that's pretty critical. And it's honestly going to be a lot like 10 years ago, if you remember that. Now, I know we look back on 10 years ago on Facebook favorably in a lot of ways. So I'm not talking about the good part of 10 years ago when everyone loved Facebook, maybe trusted Facebook. It was fresh, it was awesome, it was exciting, discovering new people and reconnecting with people you hadn't seen in years. That was great. I miss those days. We weren't all wrapped up into the politics and bragging about ourselves and all this crap. I'm talking about all the crappy ads we saw that we wished would go away. Do you remember those days? I mean, they were terrible. I remember a whole bunch of really annoying dudes standing in front of their expensive car that they didn't own, acting like they had a bunch of money. So from a user's perspective, that future is disappointing. From an advertiser's perspective, it's a bit scary. It means we can't keep doing what we've always done. And most importantly, we can't do things like we did 10 years ago. And that's probably a topic for another day.
Last call.
So I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Pubcast. Again, you can find me at johnloomer.com, facebook.com/johnloomerdigital. And it's a topic, I'm curious to see what happens. I know as advertisers, we've got a big responsibility to evolve, to change, to be creative. But another side of me is also curious, what are users going to do? How are users going to react to this whole process? What do they think is going on? Anyway, love to hear your thoughts on it too. Give me a shout, reply, comment, share, stuff. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. Until next time, do awesome things. I'm out.